Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karina, Living Lean Six Sigma or Living L6S. We're going to get back into the airframe playlist, and our next section is assembly and rigging. Question: the auxiliary tail rotor of a helicopter permits the pilot to compensate for and or accomplish which of the following? Answer: torque and directional control. Question: the vertical flight of a helicopter is controlled by? Answer: collective pitch changes. Question: a reduction in anti-torque thrust will cause the? Answer: tail to pivot in the direction of torque rotation around the main rotor axis. Note: on a single rotor helicopter with an anti-torque tail rotor, the torque of the main rotor tends to rotate the fuselage in a clockwise direction as viewed from above. The tail rotor compensates for this by attempting to rotate the fuselage in a counterclockwise direction. Decreasing the pitch of the tail rotor allows the torque of the main rotor to rotate the fuselage in a clockwise direction about the main rotor axis. Question: in rotorcraft external loading, the ideal location of the cargo release is where the line of action passes the? Answer: through the center of gravity at all times, CG. Question: the acute angle formed by the chord line of a wing and the relative wind is known as? Answer: angle of attack. Question: a helicopter in forward flight cruise configuration changes direction by? Answer: tilting the main rotor disc in the desired direction. Question: the purpose in checking main rotor blade tracking is to determine the? Answer: relative position of the blade during rotation. It's like the tracking profile. Okay. Question: in a hovering helicopter equipped with a tail rotor, directional control is maintained by? Answer: varying the pitch of the tail rotor blades. Question: if a single rotor helicopter is in forward horizontal flight, the angle of attack, AOA, of advancing blades is? Answer: less than the retreating blade. Question: the main rotor blade that do not cone by the same amount during rotation are said to be out of? Answer: track. Question: one purpose of freewheeling unit required between the engine and the helicopter transmission is to? Answer: automatically disengage the rotor from the engine in case of an engine failure. Gotta save the engine. Question: which statement is correct concerning torque effects on helicopters? Answer: torque direction is the opposite of rotor blade rotation. Question: what is the purpose of the freewheeling unit in a helicopter drive system? Answer: it disengages the engine from the main rotor when engine RPM is less than rotor RPM. Question: movement about the longitudinal axis or roll in a helicopter is affected by movement of the? Answer: cyclical pitch control. Question: movement about the lateral axis, aka pitch, in a helicopter is affected by movement of the? Answer: cyclical pitch control. Question: wing dihedral, a rigging consideration on most airplanes of conventional design, contribute most to stability of the airplane about its? Answer: longitudinal axis. Question: other than the manufacturer maintenance manual, what other document could be used to determine the primary flight control surface deflection for an imported aircraft that is reassembled after shipment? Answer: Aircraft Type Certificate Datasheet. Question: If a pilot reports that an airplane flies left wing heavy, this condition may be corrected by, answer, increasing the angle of incidence of the left wing, or decreasing the angle of incidence of the right wing, or a little bit of both. Question: If the vertical fin of a single engine prop driven airplane is rigged properly, it will generally be parallel to, answer, the vertical axis but not the longitudinal axis. Question: An airplane which has good longitudinal stability should have a premium tendency to, answer, pitch. As the angle of attack, AOA, of an airfoil increases, the center of pressure will, answer, move toward the leading edge. Note, the center of pressure of a symmetrical airfoil does not move as the angle of attack changes. Question: The angle of incidence is that acute angle formed by, answer, a line parallel to the wing chord and a line parallel to the longitudinal axis of the aircraft. Question: An airplane center of lift is usually located aft of its center of gravity. Answer: so that the airplane will have a nose-heavy tendency. Note, locating the center of lift behind the CG produces a nose-heavy tendency that is balanced by a downward aerodynamic tail load. When the nose pitches up, the aircraft slows down and the tail load decreases. Question: An airplane is controlled directionally about its vertical axis by the, answer, rudder. Question: The elevators of a conventional airplane are used to provide rotation about the, answer, lateral axis. Question: Washing in the left wing of a monoplane for purposes of rigging corrections after flight tests will have what effect on the lift and drag of the wing? Answer: both drag and lift will increase due to the increased angle of attack. Question: What type of flap system increases the wing area and changes the wing camber? Answer: Fowler flaps. Note, Fowler flaps slide out and downward from the trailing edge of the wing. When lowered, they increase the wing surface area as well as the wing's camber. Question: If the right wing of a monoplane is improperly rigged to a greater angle of incidence than designated in the manufacturer's specification, it will cause the, answer, airplane to be off balance both laterally and directionally. That's not a good situation. Question: The chord of a wing is measured from, answer, the leading edge to the trailing edge. Question: When the lift of an airfoil increases, the drag will, answer, also increase. Question: What physical factors are involved in the aspect ratio of airplane wings? Answer: span and chord. The span is the wing's length and its chord is the width. Question: Improper rigging of the elevator trim tab system will affect the balance of the airplane about its, answer, lateral axis. An airplane that has a tendency to gradually increase a pitching moment that has been set into motion has, answer, poor longitudinal stability. Note, an aircraft with good positive static longitudinal stability automatically generates a restoring force anytime it pitches nose up or nose down. Question: The purpose of wing slats is to, answer, Reduce stalling speed. Question. The angle of incidence of an airplane at rest, answer, does not change when in flight. Question. Buffeting is the intermittent application of forces to a part of an airplane. It is caused by, answer, an unsteady flow from turbulence. Question. Movement of an airplane along its lateral axis, aka roll, is also movement, answer, around or about the longitudinal axis controlled by the ailerons. Question. The primary purpose of stall stripes is to, answer, stall the inboard portion of the wings first. I think I was supposed to say stall strips. Yeah, whoops. Question. Rigging the alignment checks should not be undertaken in the open. However, if this cannot be avoided, the aircraft should be positioned with the, answer, nose in the wind. Question. The correct dihedral angle can be determined by, answer, using a dihedral board and bubble level along the front spar of each wing. Question. The dihedral angle of a wing may be measured by placing a straight edge and level protractor on the, answer, front spar. Question. Where would you find precise information to perform a symmetrical alignment check for a particular aircraft? Answer. Aircraft Service or Maintenance Manual. Question. Where is the buttock line or butt line of an aircraft? Answer. A width measurement left or right of and parallel to the vertical center line. Question. Where is fuselage station number 137 located? Answer. 137 inches aft of the zero or fixed reference line. The reference line can be station 0 or the datum line. Okay, question. Proper wing twist in a sheet metal constructed wing can usually be checked by utilizing a, answer, bubble level and special fixtures described by the manufacturer. Question. The vast majority of aircraft control cables are terminated with swaged terminals that must be, answer, checked with a go-no-go gauge before and after to show compliance with the manufacturer's requirements after the swaging operation. Question. What non-destructive checking method is normally used to ensure that the correct amount of swaging has taken place when installing swaged type terminals on aircraft control cables? Answer. Use a terminal gauge to check the diameter of the swaged portion of the terminal. Question. When inspecting a control cable turnbuckle for proper installation, determine that, answer, the safety wire ends are wrapped a minimum of 4 turns around the terminal end shank. Question. If all instructions issued by the swaging tool manufacturer are followed when swaging a cable terminal, the resultant swage terminal strength should be, answer, the full rated strength of the cable. Question. Which is an acceptable safety device for a castle nut when installing on secondary structures? Answer. Cotter pin. Question. When installing a castle nut, start alignment with the cotter pin hole at the, answer, minimum recommended torque plus friction drag torque. Question. When used in close proximity to magnetic compasses, cotter pins are made of what material? Answer. Corrosion resistant steel. Question. When a fiber or nylon insert type self-locking nut can be threaded on a bolt or stud through the insert with only the fingers, it should be answered rejected. Question. The purpose of the vertical fin is to provide answer directional stability. Question. How are changes in direction of a control cable accomplished? Answer pulleys. Question. What is the smallest size of cable that may be used in aircraft primary control systems? Answer 1/8 inch. Note, according to 14 CFR 23.2250, no cable smaller than 1/8 inch diameter may be used in aircraft primary control systems. Question. After repairing or recovering a rudder, the surface should be rebalanced. Answer to manufacturer's specifications. Question. Placing a piece of cloth around a stainless steel control cable and running it back and forth over the length of the cable is generally a satisfactory method of inspection for answer broken strands. Question. The cable-operated control system of an all-metal aircraft, not incorporating a temperature compensating device, has been rigged to the correct tension in a heated hangar. If the aircraft is operated in a very cold weather, the cable tension will answer decrease when the aircraft structure and cable becomes cold. Note, when metal is hot, it expands. So then think of the reverse for when it's cold. It contracts. Question. Very often, repairs to a control surface require static rebalancing of the control surface. Generally, flight control balance conditions may be determined by answer the behavior of the trailing edge when the surface is suspended from its hinge points. Question. Excessive wear on both of the sides of control cable pulley grooves is evidence of answer pulley misalignment. Question. Fair leads should never deflect the alignment of a cable more than answer 3 degrees. Question. When does the breakage of control cable wires occur most frequently? Answer. Breakage usually occurs where cables pass over pulleys and through fair leads. Note, this can happen where cables run over, under, around pulley sleeves, or through fair leads. Question. With which system is differential control associated? Answer. Aileron. Question. Which statement concerning the 100-hour inspection of an airplane equipped with a push-pull tube type control system is true? Answer. The threaded rod end should be checked for the amount of thread engagement by means of the inspection hole provided. Question. If control cables are adjusted properly and the control surface tends to vibrate, the probable cause is answer worn attachment fittings. Question. Aircraft flight control trim systems must be designed and installed so that the answer pilot can determine the relative position of the trim tab from the cockpit flight deck. Question. Stability about the axis which runs parallel to the line of flight is referred to as answer lateral stability. Note, think lateral line of flight, the longitudinal axis, or roll stability. Question. The purpose of spring tab or servo tab is to answer Assist the pilot in moving the control surfaces. Question. If the control stick of an aircraft with proper rigged flight controls is moved rearward, not forward, but rearward, and to the left, the right aileron will move, answer, down, and the elevator will move up. Question. Movement of the flight deck control toward the nose down position during a ground ops check of the elevator trim tab system will cause the trailing edge of the trim tab to move in which direction? Answer, upward regardless of elevator position. Note, when the trim tab moves upward, it produces an aerodynamic force that moves the elevators downward. This movement of the elevator rotates the airplane nose down. Question. If the control stick of an aircraft with properly rigged flight controls is moved forward and to the right, the left aileron will move, answer, down, and the elevator will move down. Question. If the travel of an airplane's control is correct, but the cables are rigged exceptionally tight, what probable effect will this have when flying an airplane? Answer, the airplane will be heavy on the controls. Question. During inspection of the flight control system of an airplane equipped with differential type aileron control, side-to-side movement of the control stick will cause, answer, each aileron to have a greater up travel from the streamline position than downward travel. Note, the aileron moving downward produces both additional lift and additional induced drag. To prevent the nose of the aircraft from starting to move in the direction opposite to the desired turn, additional parasite drag is generated by the aileron moving upward, deflecting a greater number of degrees than the aileron moving downward. Question. A universal propeller protractor used to measure the degrees of aileron travel should be zeroed, answer, with the aileron in the neutral position. Question. The universal propeller protractor can be used to measure, answer, degrees of flap travel. Question. Refer to this figure. Identify the cable that is used in primary control systems and in other places where operation over pulleys is frequent. Answer. It's going to be number 3. Note, the extra flexible control cable shown in number 3 is used in aircraft primary control systems where operation over pulleys is frequent. This cable is called a 7x19 cable and is made up of 7 strands of 19 wires each. Question. A tension regulator in the flight control cable system of a large all-metal aircraft is used primarily to, answer, retain a set tension. Question, another figure with a graph. When the outside air temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, select the acceptable 3/16 cable tension range. Okay, so let's see if this shows up on camera. So we're going to go on the bottom here is temperature. So 80 degrees, you're going to go up until you hit the 3/16 line. So that's up here. Okay, and then you go across, oopsies, that's here, here, and then you get to 130 pounds. Okay, the chart gives a tolerance of plus or minus 10 degrees of the normal reading. This gives a range between 117 pounds as a minimum value. So 130 pounds minus 13, which is 143 pounds, and then 130 pounds plus 13. So you got to add your plus or minus 13 pounds. So you're going to fall for the trick, you're not going to fall for the trick that I fell for, which is option A. No, you want to select option B. So you want to do you want to do 130 plus or minus the tolerance. And the tolerance you get from the top of the graph right here. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, this is a hot mess. I'm sorry. Let's do this. Question. Differential control on an aileron system means that, answer, the up travel is more than the down travel. Question. Why is it generally necessary to jack an aircraft indoors for weighing? Answer. So the air currents do not destabilize the scale. Question. Which should be accomplished before jacking an aircraft? Answer. Install critical stress panels or plates. Next section, airframe inspection. Question. Which statement about airworthiness directives, ADs, is true? Answer. Compliance with an applicable AD is mandatory and must be recorded in the maintenance records. Question. Airworthiness directives are designed to notify, answer, aircraft owners and other interested persons of unsafe conditions and prescribes the condition under which the product may continue to be operated. This will be under CFR 39.13. Next question. When overhauling electrical equipment, all necessary information should be obtained from, answer, maintenance instructions published by the aircraft and or equipment manufacturer. Question. Which statement is correct regarding an aircraft that is found to be unairworthy after an annual inspection due to an item requiring a major repair? And this is in parentheses, assuming approved data is used to accomplish the repair. So which statement is correct? Answer. An appropriately rated mechanic may accomplish the repair and an IA may approve the aircraft for return to service. Okay, you need 2. Question. Radio equipment installations made in accordance with supplemental type certificate data require approval for return to service. Answer. By the holder of an inspection authorization. That's what IA means. And then don't forget STC is supplemental type certificate if they throw that around. Question. An aircraft may be flown beyond a 100-hour inspections requirement to reach a place where the inspection can be accomplished, provided, answer, it does not exceed 10 flight hours. Question. Where would you find the recommended statement for recording the approval or disapproval of return to service for an aircraft after a 100-hour or annual inspection? Answer. 14 CFR Part 43. Note. The 100-hour or annual inspection is found in the 14 CFR 43.11. Question. The maximum time a 100-hour inspection may be extended is, answer, 10 hours. Which statement is correct when an aircraft has not been approved for return to service after an annual inspection because of several items requiring minor repair? Answer. An appropriately rated mechanic may repair the defects and approve the aircraft for return to service. Now this one is different because this one is when aircraft has not been approved or has not been approved for return to service. The one that you need 2 for is the one it's a major repair, and then the difference for this one is minor repair. Next question. An aircraft that is due an annual inspection may be flown. Answer: if a special permit has been issued for the aircraft. So don't get this confused with the other question, which is the do not exceed more than 10 hours, because the difference between those two is the maximum time a 100-hour inspection may be extended is 10 hours. An aircraft that is due an annual inspection, so this is 100-hour, this is annual inspection may be flown if a special permit has been issued. So annual is special, 100-hour is 10. So think of the one with the numbers has a number answer, and the one with the word question has a word answer. I don't know if that helps. Question. For an individual, not a repair station, to conduct a complete 100-hour inspection on an aircraft and approve it for return to service requires a mechanic certificate with answer: airframe and power plant rating. Question. Where would you find the operating conditions that make a 100-hour inspection mandatory? Answer: 14 CFR Part 91. And note, more specifically, it's in the 14 CFR 91.409B as in Bravo. Question. Large airplanes and turbine-powered multi-engine airplanes operated under the FAR Part 91 General Operating and Flight Rules must be inspected. Answer: in accordance with an inspection program authorized under the FAR Part 91 Subpart E as in Echo. This one's a trick question, so I'm going to say it again. Large airplanes and turbine-powered multi-engine airplanes operated under the FAR Part 91 General Operating and Flight Rules must be inspected. Answer: in accordance with an inspection program authorized under the FAR Part 91 Subpart E. Next section, aircraft landing gear systems.